Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to this webinar for the Cambridge Executive Master of Accounting program. My name is Michael Willis and I'm the academic director of the program. Today, we're really fortunate to have two of our program alumni joining us to share a little bit more about their experiences and their backgrounds and their experience in the program. We are here with Chele Moyo and Robert Jack. So I'll introduce them and then we'll get started. And then as the webinar goes on, if you have any questions for our panelists today, you can type those in the Q&A box and we will keep an eye on those, make sure your questions get answered. So Chele graduated from the Executive Mac program in 2023 and Robert in 2025. And we're very glad they were able to make time from their busy schedules to be here today. So I'd like to just get started by having them introduce themselves and just share about your professional background and your academic background. So let's start with Chele and then Robert.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Michael. It's really good to be here, and greetings to everybody from a very sunny South Africa. I'm mentioning that because I know weather's a thing. I'm sure everybody in the UK is a little bit colder now, so it's lovely and sunny where I
Stop,
am.
right? I
So
don't want to hear about that. Okay, webinar's over. I don't want. Never mind. Go ahead, Chele. Go ahead.
now that that's out of the way. So my name is Chele Moyo. My full name is Sichele Sile. I love saying the click because it's quite difficult for a lot of people to say. So it's kind of fun for me to say it over and over again. And professionally, I am a corporate investment banker. So I currently am the coverage lead for Southern Africa for the Mauritius Commercial Bank. So I'm based out of Johannesburg. Yes, but for a Mauritian bank. So yes, I do get to go to the lovely Mauritius every so often. Lucky me. Before that, I spent many years in at ABSA in corporate investment banking. I really cut my teeth in real estate finance, actually in many aspects of real estate. So my undergrad, so just leaning over to the academic background side, my undergrad was specialized in property studies at UCT. My MBA was in construction and real estate. I moved from many different aspects of real estate, from analytics to real estate finance. And then I moved out of real estate into healthcare coverage, tech, media, and telecoms coverage. And then now I cover the region for Mauritius Commercial Bank. That's me.
Hi, thank you very much for the warm introduction, and makes it easier now, Chele, because I can really follow the structure that you've just prepared when introducing myself. My name is Robert. I'm located in Hamburg, Germany, and I'm currently VP Accounting of a publicly listed company that is in the online lottery business. I've been in this industry for 6 years. Also, I was in online dating before. Prior to that, I spent 15 years in FMCG and skincare business, also in Germany. I earned my bachelor's degree at UCL in London, but that was mathematics and management studies. And I think when I get to talk a bit about my motivations why I joined the program, I think it has to do with creating a stronger rigor in the accounting education. I'm married, I have 4 kids, and I think also touching on this, it's been a great experience to combine this family work situation with the degree program, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thanks both. And speaking of skincare, Robert has a TikTok where he does go over his skincare regime. He keeps looking so young. Just joking. Great. So again, thank you both for being here. So one of the things, interesting things about this program, and someone asked me this the other day, what's the biggest challenge you have as the director of the program? And I said that the challenge is that the program is quite unique. There isn't really any other degree program that's quite like this one out there. And that's great and that's exciting, but it also means that it takes a bit of time to explain what the program's about and what makes it unique and how it is different from other programs that might be out there. So I'd like to start there, just sort of rewinding, time traveling to the past when you were sort of thinking about doing a graduate business program and how you settled on the Cambridge Executive Mac program. Kind of walk us through that decision and how you went through it and why you decided to join the program. Let's hear from Robert and then from Chele.
Okay, cool. So I think that keep in mind that the lockdowns had just been over in most parts of Europe in 2022, and I realized that it was really time to think of more exposure to international experience, having spent a lot of time at home at a house in the office. So that was a very personal experience. I think that's just, it shaped my research. I had seen that Mike and also Alan Jagelins had already created a lot of online footage that I could look at and get a good understanding of what the program was about. I think this is really a key feature that on YouTube you can see a lot of material, so you can familiarize yourself a little bit with what the program has to offer. And I didn't see this in other programs. Now, as Mike, as you just said, the program really is very specific, and I have not seen any similar program in any other part of the world when I researched top tier universities. In the way it combines online material with classroom or with lecture teachings, and also having a right frequency of travel. So you don't get to travel once a month, but it's rather every 3 months. And I think it combined very well with what I could really combine with my work and personal life. So basically, I did a very long research into this program, and I think the EMAC program turned out as a very unique one.
Chele, how about you? How did you make the decision and sort of how did you walk through that process?
Great. Thanks for sharing, Robert. So I think, I mean, I've got 2 children. So I had done my MBA in construction and real estate when I had my daughter. And then I had a son, and I thought, maybe I should do another master's and have a master's per child. No, I'm joking. That wasn't the real motivation. I think, I mean, as I explained, my earlier part of my career was very specialized and focused on various aspects of real estate, particularly real estate finance, being in the banking world. And I probably thought that's where I would stay, for a very long time. And then I think, when COVID hit and the lockdowns hit, they kind of disrupted all of us. And I guess it was a positive disruption for me, because then I thought to myself, well, I guess, I mean, I think in the initial lockdowns, we were all thinking, oh, well, the world's going to end. And I thought, well, if the world ends tomorrow, I have nothing to lose. Let me see what I can do that's different. So I think, for me, it really was, just on a more serious note, was when we were in lockdown and we were all suddenly, just kind of thrown into our homes. I just realized that there was kind of a really strong need for, just kind of better digital literacy for myself and for others. And having been in real estate, which is quite, obviously a slow moving asset. Now, just then thinking about, a much faster moving, disrupted type of world, I thought, well, now what do I do with this? And I thought, okay, let me micro experiment. So I decided, okay, well, I wanted to learn how to code in Python. And I spoke to my then boss and I said, I want to learn how to code in Python. I was part of an internal organization focused on the women in the organization. And then I said, well, actually, because there's a lot of us suddenly now at home and dealing with various different things, in particular, for me, I was dealing with the demands of a home, of being a mother, etc., but also the demands of a changing world, and I just needed to think of what to do. So I developed it with the approval of my then boss, developed a program and rolled it out for 80 women across, my then employer's a footprint across Africa. So, about 80 women learned how to code in Python, which was great. Okay, so then now that piqued an interest. I thought, okay, well, this is interesting, but I don't want to be a coder. So it really started, I guess, a process of maybe self-disruption and a process of self-discovery. So I thought, well, let's see what's happening around the world. Let's see what's happening at the best schools around the world, because I thought, they should be at the cutting edge of the skill sets that are required for the future, given this disruption, etc. So I went looking around, found the MAC program, and it was exactly what I needed, because it just beautifully took the experiences that I'd had up to that point, including now my newly acquired Python coding, very elementary, I must say, but my Python coding skill. And it was something, the predictive analytics course that's part of the program piqued my interest, because I thought, okay, this is something that I can, use to apply this particular skill set. But, just beyond that, I think having specialized quite early on in my career on a particular sector, I thought, okay, let me see, accounting being the language of business, it's a different kind of specialization, but with I guess more broader exposure from a sector perspective, which is now what I was now looking for. So I think when I saw, okay, this is what the best schools in the world are doing, this is what they're thinking about, and I actually sat down and I'd been thinking about my own personal SWOT analysis, what my strengths were at the time, where I saw opportunities at the time, and I think the program aligned very well with that at that particular time, and so I went ahead.
I don't think you have any weaknesses, only strengths, by the way, in your personal swatches.
I will take that all day. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you both. I want to follow up with something you brought up, Chele. So you mentioned coding in Python and writing some code, and for some people that sounds exciting, really interesting, and for some people that sounds terrifying, and for others it sounds like both. So let's just talk about that really quickly. So you did have the experience of writing a little bit of code in the Executive Mac program. So why did you do that, and what did you learn? You just tell a little bit more about that part of the program.
So for me, I'm one of those people for whom it actually sounds like both. It is both terrifying and exciting, because at an elementary level, you could be mistaken for thinking, well, how hard could it possibly be to write a code or to train a machine and machine learning program or whatever the case may be. And I think having been through the experience of having to write a code and actually having to apply it to a real case study. At the time, we had to apply it to a peer lending company, and kind of do an assignment based on the data that was provided by that company, and maybe do some analysis on which entities or individuals were likely to default, that sort of thing. So for me as a banker, that was interesting, one. So I found it exciting that you could use the code to apply it to something that was kind of a live or real life situation. It was terrifying because it can take you quite a while to get your code to work and to figure out what the errors are and that sort of thing. becomes exciting again if you do manage to figure that out and manage to make it work. So I think I definitely am a crossover between, terrified and excited. And in fairness, I guess, there is a thin line between nervousness and excitement. So I think the predictive analytics, and I'd say that even beyond the course, just beyond just the predictive analytics course, but I think speaking to the broader MAC course, a lot of things have been were applicable from day one, because then you were exposed to particular ideas and, just maybe faster ways of doing things, innovative ways of doing things. And that's something that I've carried with me post the program.
Thanks, Chele. Robert, did you have anything to add about the
Yeah, I think
predictive
I
analytics?
really like the idea of being more exposed to those topics, because what I can say for myself is that while I'm not a coder now, I can definitely engage in similar dialogues in work-related settings with much greater confidence, keeping in mind that my university education was some 15 or even 20 years ago. And I think there has been tremendous technological change, and I'm greatly thankful that we put time aside to have this practical experience that is equally relevant in the workplace, because everybody could sign up to some Coursera or other online learning resources. But I think it was this specific application to a finance or to an accounting subject where we also had really good discussions regarding, can we trust the data that we produce? Can we trust certain models that exist? What are the limitations? Also ethical concerns. And I think this has definitely created a great foundation for my personal career, because those technologies are in use as we speak. We don't have to really wait for those questions to come up. How do we want to use technology in decision making? Where are the boundaries of what humans should do and what machines can do? This is what I find really, really relevant.
That's great. Thank you both for sharing that. And to put this in context of the broader program, our predictive analytics module is just one module out of more than 15 modules that the students take. And this isn't a program in coding. It's not designed to turn students into software engineers or full-time data scientists. However, it's becoming quite clear that it's important to understand thoroughly and clearly some of the details around AI and machine learning algorithms, because they are so popular. And the AI models that we interact with in life are all built on an engine of prediction. They're trying, based on the data that they've been trained on, they're trying to make a prediction about what's the next sentence or paragraph or image or video that's going to make you happy as the user. And so it's this predictive engine that we want to understand in our predictive analytics module. So we do have our students write a little bit of code. It's not too much, but it turns out that just with a little bit of code and knowledge of Python, which is freely available and downloadable, you can access cutting edge, state of the art machine learning models and algorithms that are already out there pre-written. And so it's the objective of this module that the students come away with a deeper understanding of what's actually going on underneath these models. But also, we every year we have students who kind of a light bulb goes on and they think, oh, I have some data sets that I can work on my computer. I can run these algorithms, and that does lead them down to a path of really deepening their knowledge around these topics. Great. So continuing on, just sort of about the program, I'd like to just hear from each of you about if there was a particular sort of module or a project that might be memorable, or something that you felt like you applied, like you learned something and applied it in your work. Would love to hear your thoughts on the rest of the curriculum of the program. I'll start with Chele and then Robert.
That's quite an interesting one, and I've been thinking about it, and I think so for me, to be perfectly honest, I think that the the program in its entirety was very timely. So, just to give an example, when I started the program, I was, working, in healthcare coverage. And for some of the modules, some of the case studies that we did were specific to particular healthcare entities, pharmaceutical entities, and so forth. So you could actually take what you were learning in a live situation and apply it to your day-to-day work. Well, I very much could. And by the time I finished the program, I was covering tech and media telecoms companies. And I think, one of our capstone projects that we did, was kind of focused on a fintech business in India, as an example. So I think there's a number of things there just around the skill set that you get from the various modules. I think there was also a particularly interesting module, and I'll say it was around leadership, but it was like further leaning into self-discovery and just kind of identifying what kind of leader you present as or you show up as. And it was really interesting, particularly given the very global nature of the cohort. So, I'm based in South Africa. I had colleagues who are based in India, in Hong Kong, and you're all working together on. So I think just taking that global experience and the global different mindsets, and then taking the skill set that you get from the various modules and then applying it was particularly relevant for me, because I think that's something that I've continued to do, and definitely kind of having I'll call my career quite a global career, even though obviously I'm based out of Johannesburg. So I think it's quite difficult to pinpoint, let's say, one specific module, but definitely for me, it was what stands out is how all the various different modules came together in a particularly relevant way. And I think what I do want to say is that the core, which was also very attractive to me in going into the course, but I think that became very apparent as I was doing the course, was the fact that it really is a program that is training financial leaders. So and it does that in a way that as I said, you have the technical aspect. Modules, accounting focused, sustainability focused, AI, etc. Focused, but you also have the leadership focused type of modules. So for me, the way in which the program marries the technical financial aspects and the leadership skills that are required was, I think, quite unprecedented.
Yeah, I can only agree. I think the way that assignments were required, or we were asked to hand in, they differed from topic to topic. So in some cases it was rather numerical or graphical analyses we were asked to provide as part of the assessment. In other cases, it was to dive into a certain organization and recommend what we could do. It was about introspection. It was about applying IFRS standards and thinking critically about how they came about. And I think on a personal note, I like the governance course a lot, because thinking about a senior executive role in organizations or potential board level roles, it is really key to understand where power lies within the organization, but also what limitations supervisory boards may face. They're humans after all. They have certain motivators, and I think how to run a company is something that also perhaps others who are interested in future CFO roles would see of great benefit. But Chele, as you said, the program really neatly combines certain general classes where you catch up on managerial accounting, where you catch up on the basics of IFRS versus other local accounting standards, and then it really fans out to also electives where even more specific questions or even more specific classes are covered in the second year.
So thank you both for those answers. That's interesting, Robert. You brought up the governance module. Governance, the word governance, like the word accounting, sometimes doesn't get people really excited and make the hair stand up and just, chills. But the governance module that you mentioned is to me, as you said, is more like how would you be an effective director? Where you defined yourself on a board of a for-profit or not-for-profit organization, because governance and accountability become a very, very important, crucial part of that, alongside the strategic advisory sort of role. And even if you're serving on a board, you'll be interacting with boards and understanding how they work, and understanding what governance does and how to run it effectively in an organization is critical for the long-term viability and sustainability of an organization. And that module is persistently a favorite of the students, and very, very well received, in spite of its perhaps unsexy name. Forgive me. Very good. So let's see. As far as your experience on the program, I think that some people who are kind of thinking about doing a program like this, or this program in particular, might have a little bit of concern about their ability to manage the time. You both have very busy careers. You have busy personal lives and family lives, and a master's program is another commitment alongside that. Could you talk a little bit about just sort of what the experience was like in terms of the online parts of the program and the residential weeks in Cambridge, and how you found managing that process? Let's start with Chele and then Robert.
Sure. I mean, I really enjoyed it, to be honest. And I think that because of the context that I've explained, that I found pretty much all the modules directly applicable to my day-to-day, it really didn't feel to me like I was doing something extra, right? So I didn't find that I needed to find maybe additional time in the day to do what I had to do for my studies, because as I said, it was so directly applicable to my day-to-day job that I was able to leverage what I was learning and apply it in my day-to-day. So, but that said, I mean, it can be quite taxing. I think the fact that you do have a combined online and residential aspect was beneficial. It actually does help you to manage your time much better. And for me, actually, I mean, it seems like such a long time ago, but I started the program when we still weren't allowed to travel. There were still red lists or whatever color lists they were. And in fact, I think for probably maybe the first or second residential, I was preparing to fly out, and then, oh, well, next thing we couldn't fly out because a new COVID variant was found. And yet we were able to carry on and still finish the program in the allotted time. So I think for me, it really was making it a part of my life, but also being quite intentional about choosing a program that has strong synergies with where my career currently is and where I wanted my career to go.
Yeah, I believe I would like to highlight how much flexibility the program offers, because there is typically 1 to 3 months in between the first time you learn about a certain topic and until you hand in your assignment. I hope I got that right, Mike, but I never had the feeling that anything was left open for 6 months or that we only had 1 week to complete an assignment. So it was really possible for me to find time either after the work days, as in reading certain chapters of our books or the pre-read materials from 8 p.m. onwards in the evenings, or taking a half or full day off on the weekend to complete an assignment. I think this really, the structure on the virtual platform gives a very clear indication of when certain assignments are due. So it allowed me to plan ahead, and I never missed any birthday or any other family celebration because I knew in advance when which assignment was expected. And I think the program nicely blends group work and also personal or individual assignments, because obviously when you have your individual assignment, you align with yourself and the material, whereas for group assignments, you will probably have to schedule 2 or 3 meetings per week, depending on the workload. And I think that's also a great learning, that depending on the time zones that everybody's working in, you really have to see what is the best solution for everyone. And I think this blend of interaction, but also of self-directed study, made it easy for me. Now, I'm not the type of person who would do a lot during the week. I would rather focus on a full day on weekends. But I'm glad that the program allows for a very individual decision as to when you allocate your time to those topics. And I think this is my final sentence on this. I think, Mike, you give a certain average number of hours per week when you as the introduction on the web, and I think it's very realistic, and it depends really also on your own level of interest, how much you may want to read further or watch additional materials on the web. Yeah, it worked quite well for me.
And if I may, I think, Robert, just in addition to that, I think, it would be amiss of me to not acknowledge how supportive the faculty is. So, in addition to the fact that the program is already well structured, to allow for flexibility, but I think that they're extremely supportive. So, for instance, for myself, I experienced a personal loss in that, like my father passed on during the course of the program, and the faculty was extremely accommodating to me during that time. They were extremely supportive, and and the testament is the fact that I was still able to finish the program in the allotted time, despite having just kind of a slight disruption at that particular time. So I would say that just the support that you get from your lecturers, from the administrative staff, they're available on call. In fact, during that time, I think, I don't know that I realized that, that I was having a tough time, and, somebody from the faculty reached out to me to check on me, and all those things really make the difference.
Thanks, Chele. That's fantastic to hear about that. That you had a positive experience. We do try to keep the students at the center of everything that we do. The program is built and really structured around 8 residential weeks in Cambridge. The students are here in person, and those weeks are pretty intense, I think, from in the classroom, but hopefully very interactive and lots of discussion in the classroom, and then events and dinners and things in the evenings. Each residential week, we typically cover 2 modules, or perhaps 3 modules. And so in the weeks leading up to the residential week, the students are working through online material to prepare for the residential weeks. And the online bit is all asynchronous content, so that there aren't sort of required live online sessions that students must attend. And we do that intentionally first of all, because our students are all over the world. So anytime we want to have something live, it's the middle of the night somewhere. And the second reason is to maximize the flexibility because we know our students are very busy. And so they can work through the online bit to prepare for the residentials in their own time, whatever accommodates them, whether it's evenings or weekends or whenever. And I usually tell students that if they can consistently budget 5 to 10 hours a week of prep time to get ready for the residentials, they'll be in a good place when they get to Cambridge to participate in class discussions. And there might be peaks and valleys there. There might be times during an assessment where it's extra busy, or during a group project where there's a little bit more time to spend. There might be slightly lighter weeks, but I think it works out to something like that for most students. And I hope that students really get interested in some of the content and spend more time than budgeted on learning. So great. So on the note of Cambridge, you're coming to Cambridge 8 times over the 2 years. So could you just share about what you enjoyed about Cambridge as a place to study?
Well, first of all, I probably need a do-over because I didn't come 8 times. I came through probably about 5 times, obviously because we were still on red list and COVID variants and that sort of thing. But I think that it's really exceptional. It's having done my undergrad probably, yeah, actually, I graduated from my undergrad exactly 20 years before I graduated from the MAG program. So, it's nice to have an experience where you have solid time and you can really immerse yourself in a mature student type of experience. And, well, especially for me, the children are at home somewhere, so you can really engage and get to know your colleagues in the cohort, enjoy everything. I think that the faculty and the colleges have to offer, the dinners. I even had some colleagues who would fly in outside of the residentials to make sure that they participate in the various formals and just in the culture and the experience around town and gown of Cambridge life. So I think it's really a nice opportunity, and it's nice, it's a nice place to hang out. They're great museums. So actually, when I didn't want to necessarily spend time when I wanted to maximize the time that I had, I would sneak off to the Fitzwilliam Museum during our lunch hours and see, enjoy the exhibitions that were there. So there's a lot that you can enjoy in Cambridge, depending on your preferences. And I think, you can have a good night out on the town. You can have good dinners. You can have a good art experience, cultural experience. You can go punting. There's absolutely so much to do.
Yeah, I think I would like to have spent a bit more time in Cambridge, but obviously that would have meant to take out some days of vacation from work, and that unfortunately wasn't always possible. Although we did go to Scotland for a couple of days in the last visit, or prior to the last residential. But I think, as you said, Cambridge has so much to offer. It's such a vibrant and stimulating environment. And it's also because I graduated 19 years past my first degree, I think it's really nice to see how university in a way has changed, in a way is still the same, but then having a different personal level of maturity now, and seeing also other students and professors interact. I think that's a very, very nice experience. And I think whoever has the opportunity to come to Cambridge also to live a university or college life for a couple of days outside the residentials really should do this. Because I think college life is something that is extremely valuable, but simply can't fit into all the residential weeks typically, because there are other university dinners, or you spend time with the cohort, and you simply don't spend too much time in the college.
On this point, so if a friend asked you, what is this Cambridge College stuff all about? You're talking about college dinners, you're talking about spending time in college. What is that all about? How would you describe the college system at Cambridge?
It's really difficult to explain, to be perfectly honest, because you
That's why I asked
matriculate.
you to do it.
Yeah, you matriculate through your college, you get your tutorship technically through your college, and you graduate through your college. So I think it's a very unique system, but I think it's a system that builds well for me, because I was part of Newnham College, which is an all-female college, so it creates a sisterhood. And maybe for those in different colleges, a sisterhood, a brotherhood, but basically it's very collegiate. You create a community of colleagues, actually, even outside your normal program as well. So you get to meet different people. You get to engage in different activities around the college as they take place. One that I mentioned, as I said, is the formal dinners, but you know, um, various things that people are interested in. So let's say book clubs or knitting clubs or whatever rocks your boat, is available through college life, and it's something that I think persists beyond the program. So for me, I still engage with a few people, in South Africa, who've been part of Cambridge life through other programs as well. And then, it really gives you a community, just kind of beyond the program as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think whereas at Judge Business School you have everybody on a topic centered, or it's a topic or subject centered community. This college community really cuts across all different subjects and age groups also. This is also I think quite interesting to see that when you have a college dinner, it's really a very mixed and stimulating environment, because you have people with different backgrounds, different subjects they engage in. Yeah, it's a very valuable additional well, community that every student that is enrolled in the program also is a member of. Then again, every college is unique, and there are large colleges, there are small colleges, there are very old colleges and more recent ones, and I think it's a very exciting atmosphere that this program has to offer, because it's not just going to judge, but it's also being a member of the college.
Thank you for sharing those perspectives. From my perspective, seeing students across the different colleges over time, for younger students, for undergraduates, they're living in the college and they're eating all their meals in the college and doing supervision in the college, etc. For a mature student, for a part-time student, the relationship might be slightly different, but you're still a member of the college, just like any other member of the college. And it is, I think, a really a unique opportunity to connect with the broader university, to connect with people outside your discipline. You can be at dinner or lunch with sitting next to a mathematician and a theologian and someone studying law and someone studying classics, and lots of lectures and lots of activities and things going on all the time at the colleges. So for the students who sort of have the time and wish to take the time to kind of lean into that experience and then spend some time there, I think a lot of students have found that really rewarding. And I think sometimes they even have celebrations and parties at the colleges, but I don't know about that. No one, I'm not cool enough to really know about that kind of thing. Excellent. So I'd like to know sort of what advice you might have for someone who is either in the process of exploring this program or learning about the program, maybe considering applying. What advice would you have for them as they go through that decision-making process?
The best advice I could give is just go for it. I think, but obviously, I mean, find the points of synergy for your life as it is, and for your life as you want it to be, for me. And then don't think about it much further. Go for it. Take advantage of all the opportunities that it brings your way. Because, for me, and I think this is an aspect that we haven't spoken about, is maybe, let's say, people will be thinking about how to fund it, and the financial aspect, and the time aspect, and all sorts of things like that. But actually, I think for me, even the process of trying to figure that out is also incredibly enriching. Look for scholarships. The Cambridge Judge offers a couple of scholarships that you can apply for. Engage yourself in that process. I mean, I think one of the scholarships I had was the Emily Booth Scholarship, and it's given to two female leaders around the world. Well, it was then, I'm not sure now, but it was given to two female leaders around the world. That's an exceptional opportunity to be able to, to apply for that and receive it. So for me, I would say give it your all. Apply for any opportunity that you can find, and then once you're there, just give it your all.
Yeah, I recall from my own research and when I was applying for the program, I was really fond of the taster day, and I think that took place sometime in springtime or Easter time. I think my advice is really to get involved, get in touch with the EMAC program team, tell them where you live, find out if there is perhaps alumni to talk to in person. Perhaps Mike is traveling and there is a chance to meet in person if you don't get the chance to come to Cambridge. But I think to really travel to Cambridge to see what the classrooms look like, what other applicants look like, meeting the program team in person. That really gave me the confidence and trust, and that this is going to be the right program for me. Because I think fancy websites or other like online material is easy to produce, but if you get a chance, make sure you get this personal interaction and then make a informed choice.
Thanks both. That's great perspective. And I always encourage people considering this program or really any other program to do exactly as you described. Try to get there in person if possible. It's not possible for everyone, but if so, be there and see and feel what it's like. The chance to talk to the student cohort, chatting with alumni, it is really crucial, I think, to understanding what a program is really about. And it's a funny thing about life, but as accounting and finance sort of inclined professionals, we like to think of ourselves as very analytical, rational in our decision making. But ultimately, often some pretty big decisions come down to, does this feel like the right place for me to be? Am I excited about being here? And can I just picture myself enjoying a program and getting something out of it? So being there in person and really, or at least talking with people is, I think, a really important part of the decision. Okay, very good. So I want to thank you both for your time again, for joining the panel here and sharing your experiences on the Cambridge Chicken Mac program. That was really helpful, I think, and gives our applicants a lot of information, a lot of things to think about. And for those who are in the audience or watching the recording who are thinking about making an application, just a reminder that the first round deadline for applications is Friday, the 21st of November. And so there's still plenty of time to get your application in for that deadline. And if you'd like to engage with the program, like to learn more, please go to the website. Please get in touch with the program team. We're happy to arrange a time to have a further conversation one-on-one about your own experiences and background and your own interests and how those might fit with the Cambridge EMAC program. It is a personal decision, it's an individual decision, but those conversations really help quite a lot. So thank you again for everyone for being here. Thank you, Chele and Robert, for your time. Sincerely appreciated. And best of luck to you both, and hope to see you soon in Cambridge.
Thank
See
you,
you
Mike.
soon. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.